I have a question for you today. The question of the day: if I lost my job tomorrow, I would blank.
Welcome to the Prosperity RX podcast. This is pharmacist Keith Abel with your prescription for prosperity. This is a podcast where I give you hope. I show you the path toward building a life of peace and prosperity, to build a life that you don't need a vacation from. If you're willing to own up to it, to accept that you do have the power to change your circumstances, and that you're willing to do what it takes, then this podcast is for you. You truly can change your life and start on the true path toward financial peace and prosperity. W. Clement Stone, in his book, The Success System That Never Fails, said, if you cannot save money, the seed of success is not in you. So let's get on with the show.
Thanks for jumping on. Like I said, this is my daily morning walk, trying to get back on track from things. My son finally has his dog back with him, so I can get out here and do these brisk walks by myself now and not have to worry about tripping over the dog. Anyway, I have a question for you today. The question of the day: if I lost my job tomorrow, I would blank. So just put in the notes down below what it is that you would do if you lost your job tomorrow. You know, that happened to me, I guess 8 years ago now. Yeah, 8 years ago this past Christmas. Came into work one day and was basically told my services were no longer needed, and I was replaced by a brand new pharmacist right out of college, and they paid him $20,000 less than what I was making at the time. And you know, we were living the Dave Ramsey lifestyle. We had all of our debts paid off except our house. We had at that point a 3-month emergency fund built up. So I lost the job. I wasn't too stressed about it, because always in the past, if I wanted a new pharmacist job, I could have one within 24 hours of starting my search. So I knew we'd be okay. But then that couple days stretched out to a week, stretched out to a month, ended up being 2 years before I found another pharmacist job. And that was a scary situation. And, you know, it was, fortunately we had that 3-month emergency fund, and I was able to get some part-time side gigs in pharmacy, so it stretched things out. But what would you do? You know, how would you get by? Are you living the Dave Ramsey lifestyle? Do you have an emergency fund set up just in case? You know, a lot of people in this recent crash of the economy discovered just how vulnerable their savings are, just how vulnerable they are, and how dependent they are on their job. So, I think a lot of Americans have realized that, you know, they're not prepared. By no means are they prepared for what happened during this economic crash. I'll take a little sidetrack here. So what would you do if you lost your job tomorrow? What would you do? How would you prepare for your family? How would you take care of your family? How would you pay for your bills? Would you have to sell things? You know, we went through all that on that 2-year layoff. You know, we stretched that income out, but things were very tight. Fortunately for us, a year into it, I discovered a way to create some residual income. A gentleman, Dr. Wallach, came into my life, and you can see my interview with him from yesterday on YouTube. It's youtube.com/AskPharmacistKeith. So you can see what the interview I had with him, but he's the gentleman that introduced me to a way to create some residual income. And what is residual income? My mission is to, with this video, is to answer the question, what is residual income? And why you need residual income. So first of all, why residual income? Well, residual income is income that comes in, it's money that comes into your household, whether you roll out of bed or not, whether you get up in the morning or not. That's what residual income is. It comes in whether you punch a clock or not. It's money that's coming scheduled, just to come in no matter what your work output is for that particular month or the months thereafter. And that's what Dr. Wallach introduced me to, 8 years ago when we were suffering with a job loss and suffering with that loss of income. It was a year into our unemployment that I started working with Dr. Wallach and working on building a residual income. And we were able to build an income that lasted until we finally got that new job a year later. And then that income continued to come in all the way to this day. I've not missed a single month where the income has not come in from that little side gig that I was doing back in 2012, 2013. So why is it that most people don't generate any type of residual income? Well, to generate residual income takes one of two things. It takes the time or it takes money. If you've got plenty of money, right, if you're just loaded to the max, you can buy an apartment complex that produces residual income, or maybe buy a laundromat, or maybe at the lower level of things, invest in vending machines. So you can buy things that will spit out residual income for you. Now, of course, there's always a risk anytime, even in real estate. Anything that you have to put a lot of money into, there's risk, okay? And when I say a lot of money, I mean tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, right? And that's something I didn't have. I didn't have the cash to invest in something to generate residual income, so I had to look for a different way. And so the other side now is time. Now, time is something that most people don't have enough of, but they have some. And here's the thing, one of the reasons that I love the networking business is it's the lowest risk, lowest overhead way to build a residual income. You can create the time between the spare pockets of your day to work on your business. And, like I said, I was working part-time side gigs, and in between those side gigs, and on weekends off, I started building that residual income. It's just a fact. I don't think there's any argument to the risk that it's the lowest risk, lowest overhead way to build residual income. Now, you can get started whether you've got a high school diploma or not, whether you have a college degree or not, whether you have anything, right? Just a few $100 instead of tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you can create a business. You can maintain that business for a couple $100 a month instead of thousands that you would need to maintain a traditional business. And with some hard work, you can create a residual income that's unstoppable. I know people that, one lady that I know, she was a hairdresser, and she's gone on to do her home business full time and has stepped away from being a hairdresser, and she also cleaned houses for country stars in Nashville. And she's completely stepped away from all that and is relying now on her residual income. So the reason you want residual income is so you can have freedom. Without any type of residual income, there is no freedom. There's just not. Now, maybe you love your job. That's okay. I like being a pharmacist. I'm not suggesting that you have to give that up to build residual income. If you love your job, stay there. But let's start working to add some residual income, right? So when that time comes, not if, but when that time comes and your boss tells you that you're no longer needed, you'll have some source of income besides just your savings. And you can use your residual income to do the Dave Ramsey lifestyle, to get out of debt. If you had an extra, few $100s a month coming in, how much easier it would be to get yourself out of debt and to start saving an emergency fund. So when that day comes, you'll be prepared for it. So, like I said, let's start building a residual income and add a little bit of money. You know, everybody wants that. You know, why not do that for yourself? Now, here's the flip side. This is going to get into helping you be able to talk to other people about residual income. If you want nice things, and unless you're a trust fund baby, unless you're someone that just got a big inheritance, if you want nice things, you're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to really work hard. You know, I worked really hard at being a pharmacist. I mean, to get stuff, to get out of student loan debt, to take nice vacations, to rehab our home, to give my kids a private education. I worked really, really hard. Lots of overtime. At one point, I actually worked 3 different pharmacy jobs back in the day, 70, 80 hours per week, even more. And before pharmacy, I worked really, really hard in the insurance business. I also worked really, really hard in telemarketing and worked really, really hard at the phone company at one point. Now, none of those created residual income for me. Once the job ended, it was gone. But I worked really hard at those jobs. So if you want nice things, you're going to have to work hard. So when someone tells you that they don't want to do, you know, networking or any type of home-based business, or they don't have interest in residual income or whatever, just remind them, understand, if you want nice things, you're going to have to work hard in life. But let's visualize this out. If you work really, really hard at your job and you reach the top, CEO, boss, manager, supervisor, whatever it is in your world, will that create freedom for you? Or will it create more of the same? A job. When you stop showing up at that job, will they continue to pay you? You know, or does that income go away? And so a job in almost every case is temporary. I don't care if you're the janitor or you're the CEO of a company. In every case, the job is temporary. The money, it's a temporary solution to a permanent problem. You see, the permanent problem is that you want nice things and you want freedom in your life. That's a permanent thing. A job or anything that doesn't produce residual income, or even the potential of producing residual income, is a temporary solution to that permanent issue of I need income. So no matter what you're doing, whether you love your job, whether you hate your job, whether you know, it doesn't matter. If you want nice things, you're going to have to work hard. If you know you're going to work hard, why not work hard at something that's going to pay you for the rest of your life? Why not work hard at something that the highest level of achievement is going to create total freedom for you? So understand, when I talk to my friends, when I talk to folks, and they say they're not interested, I remind them of the alternative. I remind them of okay, so you just know I'm going to build this thing over here. That's what I tell them. I just know I'm going to build this thing over here. I'm going to build a team that's going to create residual income, that's going to pay all of us every single month. You're going to stay at your job. You know, that's totally cool. And when you stop that job, they're going to stop paying you. Suddenly I'm getting attacked by mosquitoes. Just understand that both of us are going to be working hard. Over here, I have the potential. I have the possibility of becoming rich. I have of becoming wealthy, of having freedom, of being able to travel the world. Over here, promises, hope, fortunes, wealth, riches. Over there, a job. Over there, temporary. Over there, stops when you stop. Understand, when somebody decides whether or not they want to do networking, whether they want to create residual income, they're going to work hard anyway. So why not work hard at something that can fulfill your dreams? So that's my 2 cents on it. You've got to find a way to create some residual income. Because how are you going to answer that question? If my job goes away tomorrow, what am I going to do? How are you going to answer that question? And it was a very tough question for me all those years ago. And I really didn't know. All I knew is that I had to be a pharmacist. I had no alternative. And I got that job again. I worked my butt off. But at the same time that I worked my butt off on that job and worked every bit of overtime I can get on that job, I also squeezed in ways to generate residual income. I squeezed in the time. You know, who can turn down the amount of income you earn when you work overtime? You know, I couldn't turn it down. So once I got that job, I still worked the overtime, still put in sometimes 60, 70 hours a week. But I also squeezed in my spare time ways to continue generating that residual income, an income that I have received every single month now since January 2012. When I got that job back, my residual income helped me pay for my daughter's wedding. She got married shortly after I got the job back, so it helped with that. That residual income helped me replace my Malibu when it was on its last leg, when the engine finally blew a second time. You know, that residual income has helped me now go on to build a 6-month emergency fund so we're better prepared next time. Because it's not a matter of if it's going to happen, it's a matter of when it is going to happen again. So I encourage all of you, find a way to create a residual income. If you have no ideas how to do it, then reach out to me. Send me a private message and I will get back with you and talk to you about what it is that I've done. What it is that Dr. Wallach helped me do starting in January 2012. When I was in that situation of a year of unemployment, a year of not knowing whether I would ever be a pharmacist again. It gave me hope. Without hope, what have you got? So anyway, I want to thank everybody that's been on here. Thanks, Darren, for joining. Thanks, Renee. Appreciate that. Thanks, David. Appreciate you for jumping on and staying on. Like I said, send me a private message if you guys have any questions. If you know anyone that needs to hear this message, then share it. Because I think everybody needs to know, that everybody needs to be thinking about what will they do if tomorrow their job goes away. So many folks, record number of folks, were faced with that question this year. Record number of folks realized that they weren't prepared. So let's be prepared for the next time, because it's going to happen again. Maybe not the COVID crisis. Maybe next time it'll be some kind of financial crisis. I mean, you know, you had the real estate bubble burst, and that affected everybody related to the real estate industry. They've been predicting for a long time that there's going to be a student loan bubble burst. So if that happens, it's going to affect everybody in the education industry. You know, we don't know what the next thing's going to be, but we got to be prepared, because it can happen again, and it will happen again. There's no doubt about it. So reach out to me on a private message, and I'll be glad to share with you what it is that I'm doing. And maybe it's not a fit. That's fine. But what do you have to lose in reaching out and finding out what it is I'm doing? I will see you guys again on a future post. Need to get my pace back up on this walk so I can get my exercise in, and I will talk to you guys again in the future. Thank you.
This has been the Prosperity RX podcast with pharmacist Keith Abel. Prosperity RX, your prescription for health, wellness, and prosperity. If you found value with this episode, please share and go to Apple iTunes, make a comment, and give us a 5-star rating. Also subscribe to iTunes or your favorite podcast platform. Prosperity RX can also be found on YouTube at youtube.com/Prosperity RX. Pharmacist Keith is also a business entrepreneur. He helps folks from all walks of life start and run their own home-based business. If you'd like Keith to help you create your own business, then visit aimhighforsuccess.com.